today's video, we'll be looking at scary and creepy TikToks that you should not watch before bed.
Who is a jigsaw survivor that actually deserved to survive? I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but Amanda Young from the first Saw movie. Amanda is put into this trap because she is an addict, and Jigsaw tells her that she does not appreciate the life that she is given. She has 60 seconds to get this reverse bear trap off of her head before it rips her jaw completely open, unaliving her almost instantly. She is told the key is in the stomach of her redacted cellmate who is lying on the floor in front of her. So again, she thinks this guy is unalived, and she is desperate. She's cutting open his stomach trying to get in there. But before she makes the first cut, she realizes this man is alive. And not only is he alive, he's waking up. But she goes through with it anyway. She gets the key out of his stomach, she unlocks her reverse bear trap with mere seconds to spare, and she survives. Jigsaw deems her grateful now of being alive and that she is now cured. She obviously later goes on to become his apprentice because he grooms her. She's also a little mentally unstable, but we love Amanda anyways. But yeah, she goes through a lot. She deserved to survive her first.
Could you imagine, y'all, being locked in one of Jigsaw's traps? I don't know what I would do. I don't know if I would fight to find a key. I don't know if I would just say, F it. Take my life, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you do in that situation? I don't know.
Everybody needs to watch this video. Okay, so we all remember this dress that broke the internet. Some people think it's white and gold, others think it's blue and black. But the man behind this dress actually has been charged with the attempted murder of his wife. 38-year-old Kendrick Johnson allegedly committed an 11-year-old campaign of domestic violence actions and control against his wife. All leading up to a moment last March in which he allegedly attempted to kill her by pinning her to the ground and compressing her neck. Kendrick Johnson has denied all allegations against him at this time, and the attempted murder case will have its preliminary hearing before a trial in 2024. This is actually crazy because this is one of the first things that ever go viral on the internet, and the person behind it was literally just charged with the attempted murder of his wife. So do you think Kendrick Johnson tried to kill his wife? Or do you think he's innocent? Let me know your opinions on this whole case in the comments, because this is absolutely mind-blowing to me, and I bet it is to a lot of you guys also. And one last time, is the dress white and gold or blue and black?
That's what I was going to ask. Is it white and gold or is it black and blue? I personally see blue and gold. I don't even see white on there.
This is Shannon Mcool, one of the worst pedophiles of all time. I'm going to warn you right now, this story is incredibly disturbing and hard to listen to, so viewer discretion is advised. Shannon Mcool is from Australia, and according to interviews that he gave after his arrest, he started having these feelings towards other children when he was 15 years old. So from a very young age, he felt these pedophilic behaviors and desires. In the year 2011, he began working for the Families SA, which is a part of the Australian government that oversees childcare and abuse. And through this government job, he was able to get access to hundreds of children.
Yo, I feel like, man, you don't know who's working for who in these government jobs that are supposedly helping children. Like, people like this can apply all the time, and you won't know what they got going on in the back of their mind. So, man, it's just, you got to be careful out here.
These kids had been through it all already. They came from abusive and negative backgrounds, and he took this and used it to his advantage. He was able to get access to these kids for years, and even though other employees reported that he had been acting inappropriately with these youngsters, nothing happened. The government agencies ignored these red flags and kept him under their employment. But in the shadows, Shannon was engaging in some of the most deplorable internet behavior I've ever read about. He was a moderator for a website called The Love Zone, a website which had connections to Peter Scully, Richard Huckle, and a number of other pedophiles that we've talked about here on my TikTok in the past. But apparently, for other pedophiles to get access to this massive library of CP and become a member of the Love Zone, they had to upload their own user-generated CP at least once a month. This means that Shannon wasn't just taking kids from residential homes, abusing them, filming the videos, and putting them up on the internet for other people to seek out. He was actually encouraging people all across the planet to commit their own atrocious things. And he would then tell them that if you want access to his media, you would have to upload your own. So he was encouraging just so much abuse across the planet. According to Shannon, the first time that he had done something like this was in 2011 when he picked up a kid from childcare, was driving him home, pulled the car over, touched him inappropriately, filmed it, and then uploaded it. And from that point going forward, he was gone, and he eventually worked his way up to being one of the biggest pedophiles on the internet, dealing CP to millions across the globe. One of his alleged offenses even includes the assault of an 18-month-old child. But eventually, Shannon's crimes would come to the light. And that's when Task Force Argo stepped in, a division of the Queensland Police Service who specifically investigate child exploitation and abuse online. I find it interesting that they use a scorpion as their logo for the task force because the scorpion is the natural predator of the Australian stone spider, and pedophiles in Australian prisons are referred to as stone spiders. Well, eventually, there's a longer story that I could go into this about how the police actually ended up running a pedophile website and busting a ton of people, but that led them to Shannon Mcool's house. Now, when they investigated his home, they found over 53,000 CP images, a good number of which he was actually directly involved with producing. And in total, after all of their investigation was completed, they had recovered over 100,000 CP still images and over 600 videos from Shannon. In 2015, he received 35 years in prison for his crimes, but recently his sentence was slashed.
Listen, y'all, listen. I know everybody wants to go viral. Everybody wants that TikTok that just, skyrockets and gets 1 million views. Everyone wants that. But please, please, please do not extort your children and keep them off the internet as much as possible. Because of people like that, you never know who's on the internet watching your kids. So you got to be safe.
Kendrick Johnson didn't roll himself up in a mat. Kendrick Johnson was described as a quiet but very sweet boy.
I think I remember this.
He was a talented athlete. He played in 3 sports, and it was his dream to play professional football. Kendrick lived with his family in Georgia, and he went to Lowndes High School. But on January 11th of 2013, his life would be cut tragically short. Kendrick didn't show up to his afternoon classes, and he was marked absent. He did have a game that he needed to attend that night, so his parents weren't worried when he didn't come home from school. But when he didn't show up after midnight, that's when they started getting worried. Kendrick would be found the next day, and he would be in this gym mat that had been rolled up. Kendrick was facing down. He had one arm stretched in front of him, and his other arm was near his waist. The weird thing is that his shoes were stuffed down by his knees. Several students claimed that they would often throw their sneakers in these gym mats so that they wouldn't have to pay for locker space, and they said that Kendrick did this along with a friend of his. These gym mats stood about 6 feet tall, and when they were rolled up, the center hole was about 14 inches in diameter. The strange thing is that Kendrick's shoulders were about 19 inches across. Although it seemed like it was almost impossible for Kendrick to squeeze into this smaller hole to get his shoes, the case was quickly ruled an accident and closed. But there are several strange things to this case that make many, including myself, believe that it was in fact not an accident, but murder. One of the first strange things about this case was that according to Georgia law, when a body is found, the coroner needs to be called immediately. But it took the investigators 6 hours to call the coroner to come get Kendrick. Another strange thing is that there was in fact blood on the gym floor and on the bottom of the floor mat, which would make sense if Kendrick had been trapped in the floor mat for an extended period of time. If he had hung upside down for as long as they said he did, he would have eventually started bleeding from his nose and his mouth and his eyes. There was also a gym shoe at the bottom of this gym mat, but the blood on the floor was not on top of the shoe. So how was it that he was trying to reach down for the shoe, but there was no blood on the shoe itself? But in fact, just under the shoe, if that makes sense. There was also an orange hoodie and a black pair of shoes found that seemed to have blood on it, but when investigators looked at it, they said it wasn't blood, but the shoes and the orange hoodie were never taken in as evidence. I am going to have to go to part 2. Give me a couple minutes to...
Did you?
What y'all think? Do that sound like a cover-up to y'all? Do y'all really think this boy went down there on accident and got stuck and couldn't yell, and there was nobody in the school, or like he was the only one in the gym before a football game and he got stuck and could nobody hear him? Like she said, it's a lot of fishy stuff going on with that one, man. It's just messed up, and it's unfortunate though.
You know about the mysteries of the catacombs? The Paris catacombs are a network of tunnels that hold the remains of more than 6 million people. In the late 1700s, the cemeteries in Paris were overflowing, and a decision was made to place the remains under the city. These human remains were organized in artistic ways, and there are even different rooms dedicated to unique skeletal remains or deformities. Even though you can explore parts of the catacombs, many parts are dangerous or even illegal to visit. In the 1990s, explorers found a video camera in the catacombs. This footage showed a man exploring the catacombs, and as the footage continues, the man's pace becomes faster and more panicked. Eventually, the man drops the camera and runs away into the dark. The fate of this man is unknown. The question is, what was he running from? Did he become disoriented or panicked? Was his light battery running low? Or was there something more sinister hiding in the catacombs? Follow me for more.
3 paranormal TikToks that will chew you to the bone.
Looks like we've already passed it a while ago, but that tree is gone. I'm probably going to turn around soon. Oh, there's 2 ways. Holy crap, dude, this trail goes on forever. It just got really quiet really fast.
Oh, no. What's that? Go. Uh-oh, and that mug won't start either.
That was my cue to leave.
Yep.
What was this?
Don't
At the
catch
end of
me in
this
the
video,
forest.
I'll add the photo for context to anyone that's seeing this and hasn't seen the first video. I'm home alone, just me and my daughter, and someone took a picture of me in my bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, just super terrifying. Right now, I'm staying at a buddy's house in his guest room. We're too spooked to stay at my house. It's just too creepy. Even though I did search the whole house, there's definitely no one there. And I made a police report. They didn't really seem super interested, but anyways, here's the photo. I made sure to screenshot it so you can see what time it was taken. It's at 2:34 in the morning. As you can see, there's no way that my daughter could have taken it. And there was no one else at my house.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the way that the photo looks is just super creepy, and it looks like someone was standing on my bed, which is also super creepy.
Yo.
There's something under there. Bro.
And they going down.
Dude, please don't go down there. Oh my gosh.
Oh no. You heard
Dude,
that?
hold on. Let me go first. Let me go first.
Morbid Facts, Part 62. In 2006, a 38-year-old woman who had been missing for 3 years was found dead in her London home with the TV still running. Prior to her death, she had cut off nearly all contact with those who knew her and apparently died from an asthma attack with no one by her side. 25 years after the unsolved murder of Nicole Van Den Herk, her stepbrother falsely confessed to killing her. He did this so that the body would be exhumed for DNA testing, which led to the prosecution of her true killer. To unlock the secrets of a genius, the man who performed Einstein's autopsy stole his brain and kept it inside a jar for 20 years. He found that the part of Einstein's brain that processes math and language was 15% bigger than the average human's. In 2010, a Polish man wanted doctors to remove a years-long cyst on the back of his head. Upon further examination, doctors found that the cyst was actually a .22 caliber bullet that was lodged in his scalp.
That's crazy.
Turns out he was apparently shot when he was blackout drunk at—
Did you know about the dancing?
Yo. The man got shot in the back of the head and did not know. That's mind blowing. Like, how drunk was you at that party? You thought you just got nicked or something. They didn't hit you with a little deuce.
Plague, In 1518, a woman in Strasbourg, France started dancing on the streets and couldn't stop, and soon others joined her unwillingly. The dancing quickly spread, and within weeks, hundreds of people were dancing in a frenzied state. They danced for hours, days, and even weeks without rest, resulting in exhaustion, injury, and even death. Many believe that the dancing plague was a form of mass hysteria or a symptom of a type of food poisoning from ergot fungi, which is commonly found on cereal grains like wheat and rye. However, the exact cause remains unclear. Regardless of the reasons why, the dancing plague is one of the most bizarre and perplexing events in our history.
The dark truth behind why the Titanic was uncovered. In 1985, when it was announced that Robert Ballard had found the sunken ship, he was hailed a hero. But what he did not tell you was that the whole search for the Titanic was a big cover by the Navy for something else. Well, you see, when Robert Ballard went around lobbying for funding to find the sunken Titanic, the Navy jumped at the opportunity to use this front as a disguise for the real mission to potentially find and recover Thresher and Scorpion, two sunken nuclear submarines that the US Navy lost to the Soviets in the 60s. And even though the submarines were just sitting on the Atlantic Ocean floor, they contained treasure troves of nuclear military technology that the Navy wanted to avoid falling into the wrong hands. Truth be told, it worked. The military got their technology back. Robert Ballard was able to use the remaining time to unearth the Titanic, which ended up being a blockbuster film. Even though you can watch the full video by clicking on the link in the description below. And ever since the success of the movie, many people still don't know that this is
This paranormal case is one of Australia's most mysterious supernatural attacks. These are the ghost stories from our own backyard, so sit down, dim the lights as I tell you the story of the Guyra hauntings. In 1921, for 4 months, the Bowen family from Guyra, New South Wales, believed that they were being attacked by a poltergeist. These attacks included rocks falling from the ceiling and rocks being thrown from an unknown source outside. The rocks shattered all the windows on the weatherboard house. Even when the police and locals surrounded the house, no culprit was ever found. Banging could also be heard on the walls. The strange thing was that the banging seemed to come from within the house. But to those on the inside, it appeared like the banging was coming from outside the house. The target of these supernatural attacks was believed to be the Bowens' 12-year-old daughter, Minnie. Minnie was a shy young girl whose family believed that she had supernatural powers. These powers included the ability to move objects without touching them.
Y'all ever seen the movie Matilda? Because this sounded a lot like Matilda. Supernatural powers, moving things without touching them.
The Morning Herald described Minnie as being tall, thin, with dark, peculiar eyes that never seem to miss any movement in the room. And when she speaks to you, she never smiles. It was believed that Minnie's powers attracted the ghost of her half-sister who passed away months prior. The case caught the attention of spiritualist Ben Davey. He prompted Minnie to speak out loud to her deceased half-sister May, in which Minnie responded she can't because she's dead, and Davey prompted her again to try. Minnie then claimed that May spoke to her. Apparently May said, "Tell Mother, I am in heaven, and I am quite happy." Another psychic investigator called Harry Moores also turned up at the house. He claimed that the hauntings was the work of a poltergeist. From research, poltergeist activity usually follows a person who is approaching puberty, or have experienced some kind of tragedy or trauma within or close to the family. The Guyra haunting is now considered a textbook example. However, the attacks on the house became so extreme that the family attempted to escape the ghost. Minnie's parents moved her to her grandmother's house in Glen Innes, but the family claimed that the poltergeist followed her there. Despite having a few days of peace, the attacks started again. Banging could be heard within her grandmother's home, and the bangs were strong enough to
A family in Las Cruces, New Mexico began noticing certain items going missing from their loved one's gravesite. They installed security cameras in the area, and what they captured was shocking. The images depict a little girl about the size and age of Fabiola Rodriguez, a little girl who had died 2 years earlier and whose tombstone was just a few feet away from this family's. After finding this, the family contacted Fabiola's mother. Sandra Gonzalez burst into tears, saying, "Oh my God, that's my baby." In one of the video stills, you can actually see Fabiola standing next to a taller apparition. Some believe that this is 2-year-old Fabiola.
A man's body has been found in a rubbish bag. His mum's body was also found. In New York on the 5th of July, the body of 31-year-old Kyle Danielson was found in a rubbish bag. He was found with a puncture wound to his back, and it's believed that he'd been deceased for a while. Around 12 hours later, tragically, his mum's body was also found in their home. The cause of death has not yet been confirmed, but police believe Kyle's 40-year-old brother Roscoe was responsible for moving him. CCTV apparently captured Roscoe moving him from the house. Roscoe was arrested on charges including weapon possession, tampering with evidence, and concealment of a body.
Videos that will make you...
that are gonna be released soon. Hey, free my boy John Wilkes Booth. He didn't do nothing. He just murdered a president. We got Yolanda Saldivar. She killed Selena. Yo, why is we releasing this demonio? She's getting released in 2025. Fam, that's in 10 days. Bro, we gonna jump her ass.
Supposedly Al Capone was haunted by one of his victims. Back in 1929, there were 7 members of the North Side Gang, which was Al Capone's rival gang at the time, and they met in some garage in Chicago. One of the men was James Clark, and all 7 of them were massacred by 4 other men. 2 of the 4 were disguised as police officers, and it's believed that this was Al Capone's gang who was making this big hit on 7 of the rival gang members. So the massacre was never solved, but still many believe the hit was ordered by Al Capone, and later his prison guards reported hearing blood-curdling screams coming from his cell. And supposedly he was always shouting the name Jimmy, and he kept yelling to leave me alone, even though the prison guards would run over and there was no one in there but Al Capone. I do know he had a pretty severe case of syphilis by the end of his life, especially when he was in prison. It was called syphilitic paresis. Also, it used to be called syphilitic insanity, which is a neuropsychiatric disorder. So this might have...
Did you know that Saw used to have...
Wait. Syphilis make you go crazy? I didn't know that. I just thought it was something from,
have a haunted house at Halloween Horror Nights? Well, they did, and it was called Saw, the Games of Jigsaw. It was this really cool haunted house where you would just walk through a series of saw traps in the process of happening. Dozens of live actors and performers playing characters from the movies and original characters. My understanding is they did this several years ago to promote a new upcoming Saw movie. There's also this amazing video online where you can watch the guy who plays Jigsaw, Tobin Bell. You can watch him go through the maze. And his reactions are so funny. Like, so many of the scare actors get him. He genuinely jumps out of fright. He gives a captain's salute to Billy the Puppet. I love you, brother. Tobin's so funny. There's some moments where he's like genuinely having a hard time, and he says at the end that it was genuinely effing terrifying. This is my first year going to Halloween Horror Nights ever, and I really hope that to promote Saw X, they're gonna announce a Saw House at Horror Nights. Because how amazing would this be?
Creepy encounter.
Yo, she freaked out. Look.
Alexa, off. Who are you? Who are you? Please get off. Please get out. No, please get out. Yes. Who are you? Please get out of my apartment right now. Please get out of my apartment right now. Get out. Get out. Hello?
That man just walked right in. La Lorena in 4K. This does not look like 4K. Yeah, I'd be spooked. I wouldn't even be filming her.
There's a video I want to show you, bro.
Okay, show me.
There's this kid, right?
He's looking in a mirror. The parents are recording him. And when he looks away from the mirror, the kid's face is still there. They're saying his reflection got possessed by a demon. Look at this.
Is this a fake video or this?
No, this is real. This is real. This is going viral on Twitter right now.
Look at that.
Whoa, nah, chill. Wait, hold on.
Look.
Does it sync again? Let's see if it syncs again.
It syncs up, bro. It syncs up. Check this out. I was watching it, right? Fam, right when I was watching it, I got like the chills, bro. I felt like I actually saw like a real demon, dog.
No.
And I only feel that when I really sense like evil in something I'm watching. Remember I told you that story I was watching? It was like the house with all of the conjuring stuff and then the idol, remember?
Yeah.
There's this other picture. I don't know if I talked about this before, but it's a famous painting.
Otto.
Yo, that famous painting. I don't know if this is the one that I'm thinking of, but like I've seen this before. It's a person holding a mirror, right? And they're looking, but on the other side of the mirror, there's like a demon on that other side. So it makes me think that when people look into these mirrors, that they open up portals or something to another dimension. The unseen is seen. Like, for instance, the guy that was in the car, someone was recording him from another car, and when he moved his head, you know, the reflection didn't move. I've also seen, it was some guy, I don't know. There's a lot of videos like this, y'all. So it's wow.
Warmbier's decision to take a trip to North Korea before starting his semester abroad in Hong Kong turned out to be a fatal mistake. Despite warnings from the State Department and his parents, Warmbier was determined to go on an adventure. The promising young student, who was a math whiz and a star athlete, found himself in a harrowing situation when he was detained by North Korean authorities for allegedly stealing a propaganda poster. The nightmare began for Warmbier, and the 17 months that followed were nothing short of torture. When he returned home, the true horror of his imprisonment was revealed. He was in a coma with severe brain damage, and his health was rapidly declining. He died within a week. To this day, no one knows what really happened to Otto Warmbier while he was being held in North Korea, but his family firmly believes his death was the result of awful, torturous treatment.
Sure.
Warmbier's parents described him as a well-rounded youth who graduated as the salutatorian of his class and showed prowess as a swimmer and soccer player. He was awarded the titles of both homecoming and prom king at Wyoming High School. He was known for his athletic prowess, classic good looks, and unending charisma, which made him everyone's friend in his small town of Wyoming. He earned a scholarship to the University of Virginia, where he was known to be studious and meticulous, and he even joined a fraternity full of kind of nerdy dudes. Warmbier was detained by North Korean authorities after they accused him of committing a hostile act against the state. He was held in confinement and subjected to a televised confession, where he shed tears and pleaded to be sent back to America. In March 2016, the North Korean government sentenced him to 15 years of hard labor for crimes against the state. A campaign back in the United States pushed for Warmbier's return, which took more than a year. The truth about Otto Warmbier's suspicious arrest, trial, and death may never be uncovered. North Korea denied allegations that they had abused Warmbier in any way, claiming that he had contracted botulism and suffered an allergic reaction to a medication. Warmbier's parents, however, firmly believed that their son had been physically tortured while in prison. The tragic fate of Otto Warmbier serves as a warning to those who seek adventure in dangerous places and highlights the dangers of traveling to countries with poor human rights records.
First off, what you doing traveling through North Korea? A person like me, I don't even like traveling through Wisconsin, Virginia. Like, I'm cool. It's cities in my own state I don't even want to travel through. And this mug want to take a stop in North Korea.
Nightmarish facts about your body that you probably shouldn't think about. Due to the brain's lack of pain receptors, brain surgery is often performed while the patient is awake and talking. And in some cases of brain surgery, the surgeon will pull your face forward like a banana. Men's nipples can be stimulated enough to produce milk. Once you turn 30 years old, you can expect to lose half an inch every 10 years. When you developed in the womb, your anus was formed before anything else. So at one point, you were nothing but an asshole. The acid in your body is strong enough to dissolve razor blades, which is why your stomach is in a constant battle to not digest itself. When you get a sunburn, your cells are dying to avoid becoming cancerous. A sneeze can blow out of your nose at over 100 miles an hour. So next time, be careful, because it's actually possible to break a rib simply by sneezing. If you've ever been on a roller coaster and feel like your heartbeat is in your mouth, it isn't your imagination. Your organs are...
This video might be proof that reptilians do live among us.
Forces and protecting the population and minimizing civilian casualties have long been a cornerstone of the counterinsurgency doctrine.
What just happened?
Casualties have long been a cornerstone of the counterinsurgency doctrine.
She straight up just shapeshifted on live TV, folks! Maybe the lady on the plane was being real. If you want more video proof, then check out this video on my YouTube channel, link in.
In Filipino culture, the term pagpag refers to a superstitious practice that is often observed after attending a wake or funeral. The belief behind pagpag is that when you leave a wake or funeral, you should not go straight home. Instead, you should make a detour or visit another place before heading back to your own residence. The reason for practicing pagpag is rooted in the belief that spirits or negative energies may follow you home from the wake or funeral. By going somewhere else first and shaking off these spirits, you can prevent them from lingering or causing harm in your own household. People who practice pagpag might stop by a store, a restaurant, or the church before returning home. Some may even go to great lengths to take a different route or make several stops to ensure they have fully rid themselves of any unwanted spirits. The practice of pagpag is more prevalent in traditional Filipino communities, where superstitions and beliefs about the supernatural still hold significant influence. However, it's important to note that not all Filipinos practice pagpag, and beliefs may vary among individuals and regions. It's worth mentioning that the practice of pagpag should not be confused with the term's other meanings. In a different context, pagpag can also refer to leftover foods.
Pagpag. Y'all, I might have to start doing some pagpag myself. But yeah, guys, these are some of the most creepy and scary TikToks that you'll be able to find on the internet. If you like the content, don't forget to subscribe, turn your notification bell on, and until next time, YouTube, peace.